This video is brought to you by DistroKid. And welcome to the super fun, awesome, happy time pedal show. My name is Gabor.
Hey, welcome along. I'm Alex, and we're going to do some more recording today.
Yes, we're looking at this today. Well, these kinds of things, which is a Loadbox and IR loader. We did a video recently, part 1 of our recording series, which you can watch here on microphones and mic placement and all that sort of stuff. Today we're kind of doing the same thing, but in a virtual world.
Yes, to do with IRs, and we can virtually move the microphone around the cabinet like we did with the physical one last week. And yeah, we're going to check all that. So if you could like and subscribe on the channel and the video, give us a thumbs up if you like it, and leave comments and questions below. Yes,
please do. And first, a word from our sponsor. DistroKid is an online music distribution service that makes it super easy to distribute your music to online retailers and streaming services such as iTunes and Spotify, Pandora, TikTok, and so on. Hyperfollow is a free service from DistroKid which helps artists reach a larger fan base. Instead of sending people to social media or streaming services, Hyperfollow is a link that will do it all for you.
Anyone who clicks on your Hyperfollow page will automatically follow you on Spotify. You will get each fan's email address and will make it easier for your fans to share your music on social media. Click on our link below to get 7% off your first year's membership with DistroKid and to get all the details on all the services they provide. And thanks again to DistroKid for sponsoring this video.
Alright, so we're talking about this sort of stuff today. Hopefully you can see the screen grab now. This is the interface. This is what's called the 2-notes Torpedo remote. So we're using the Torpedo Live right here. There are other brands that do similar sort of things. So for example, we use the ENGL CABLOADER in most of our videos. But for this particular purpose, this is actually a Loadbox as well. So the CABLOADER is just an IR loader, but like this, you don't need a speaker. You just use that, you plug your amp straight into this. You don't need to attach a speaker. You can do it all virtually and record silently at home. And this is the interface. So at the moment, we have an ENGL 4x12 XXL cabinet. And we've got these two microphones. We've got a Dynamic 57 and a Ribbon Fat 2. It's sort of in a virtual room. And we should mention, we're using the Cherry Tone Creme Brulee, and it just goes straight into this. And it sounds like this.
Cool. So this is clean with my warm-off parts guitar.
So first thing with that particular guitar, it's quite a dark guitar.
Yeah.
So one of the things you can do with this, for example,
I do have a pedal too, which I might just.
Oh yeah, let's try that
just
first.
Just a little bit of edge. This is the old Silver Kiss from Catlin Bread. Just the edge of breaker.
Just the edge of breaker. What we can also do, we've got an EQ here, so we can turn the EQ on, and I've got it set so it boosts a little bit of the 6K, just to brighten it up a bit, it's almost gives it a bit of air.
Yeah, but presence.
Okay, cool. So let's just leave it at that. Let's just say we quite like that. Now, what we can do, for example, in last video, we actually physically moved different microphones around. Here you can do the same thing, but you can virtually move these microphones around. My trackpad is crap, and it doesn't like doing stuff. But here, there you go. So you can actually move, you can move it left and right, so away from the center, or off axis. You can move it further away in the room or right up to it. So let's start off, right. Let's turn that microphone off. Let's just have the one microphone, and we're going right in the center of the speaker on axis.
Very cool.
So it was just a one mic, so it's a Dynamic 57, so it's kind of like what we used in the other video. It's like an emulation of a Shure SM57. I just moved it away from the cone, I moved it closer to the center again, and then I moved it away, distance-wise, away from the speaker. Now what we can also do is we can change microphones, which is one of the kind of cool things you can do with this. So each speaker cabinet will have their own microphones that the IRs were recorded with. So IRs basically, I should explain this too, it's an impulse response. Impulse response means it basically captures a snapshot of the environment the speaker was placed in. So it looks at what the speaker sounds like plus what that speaker sounded like in the room. Yep. And so what you can do is you can change the rooms in here, you can change the speakers in here, you can change the microphones in here. It's just an entire virtual studio, basically. Let's try it the same setting, right? That one particular mic.
Yeah.
So this is the 57 again.
Okay.
And I'm going to change microphones. So that was all the different microphones that this particular cabinet was mic'd up with and the IRs were recorded with. Was there one particular that you liked?
Was it the 7B, SM7B kind of
7B, okay. So let's just do that. Let's just set up a sound for you.
Sure.
Because the other cool thing is now we can add a second microphone to it. So that's a microphone. Let's hear it again. So I just added a second microphone to it. Now the cool thing is also you can blend the second microphone in, so we can turn that down, and then I'll slowly bring the second mic in just so you can hear the difference.
What do you got the other one?
So we've got a Ribbon Fat 2,
Ribbon,
which is possibly
Royal
121 kind of ish kind of thing.
Yeah. Clipped a little bit.
Clipped a little bit there. So now we can also muck around. Now we can move that microphone wherever we want. So just quickly, just to give it, let's just quickly run through that as well.
Yeah.
Sounds pretty good. So I moved it a bit more into the center, but sort of further away. So we've got one mic fairly close, one mic a little bit further away. Let's quickly look through different mics here as well, just to see a comparison between the two. So that was a Ribbon Fat 2. This is now Dynamic 421.
Condenser?
That's the last one, yeah. Condenser 184. I quite like that one.
I was kind of thinking condenser might be nice with a dynamic mic to get some more sparkly. Especially
and more bottom end.
This one's a mahogany body, so it's a little bit darker than a normal.
So let's say we like that, right? So we found two microphones we liked. The cabinet is fine. We'll check out different cabinets later on. Now one of the cool things with this as well is you can have virtual rooms. So at the moment we're in what's called Studio A. So I'll get rid of I'll go completely dry now. So this is no room sound attached to it.
Okay. cut my finger yesterday and it just grabbed it on the fret.
Ooh, not good, not good, not good. Okay, so while he's playing now, while he's in pain, making John Mayer faces, I'm going to change the studio. So we're going to go into different studio environments.
I've got a better beard than John Mayer.
Does he have a beard?
Exactly.
Okay, so I'm gonna make it relative. I'm gonna go 50% dry wet, so you can hear a bit of the room, and just go through the different rooms. So this is Studio 2, or Studio B.
Skin just fell off.
Oh, not good.
Anyway, yeah, the cool sounds. Like I've been even with recording stuff, I've been trying to use room sounds a lot more in the mixing.
Yeah, it's quite.
Really,
I actually quite
cool.
liked the Hall B, which is like, it looks like a theatre kind of thing. One thing I forgot with the speakers, the microphones, you can actually stick them in the back as well. So you can flick it. So you can put one of them in the back. So this is what it sounds like in the back now, for example.
That's cool. Like, can you put that in like the basement or one of those?
What, the more reverby ones? Oh, like the loft.
Yeah,
that's sort of with loft. A bit of a Okay, let's put one in the back. It sounds cool. So you can put one mic in behind. You can choose which mic, and then there you can also see how we can change it closer, further away. You can place it into a virtual environment, basically. So that's pretty cool. Now you've got EQ as well. So the EQ we're using, this is, and again, we're just looking at this particular software and this particular hardware. There are different makers, different brands that make that sort of stuff. It's just Two Notes. I have this, and this video isn't sponsored by Two Notes, by the way. This is just stuff I have. You can also, you have a guitar. These are frequencies that are specific for guitar recording. You also have ones that are specific for bass recording, and you can have a custom one where you can actually set what frequencies you want, and you can have you set the frequency, and then you can either boost or cut the gain for these frequencies. Another thing you can actually do with all the Two Note stuff is you have power amp emulation. So you can technically run things like preamp pedals, or if you have rack mount preamps, you can technically run them directly into that and use their virtual power amp. Within that as well, you can select different tubes, so KT88s, EL34s, EL84s, 6L6s, whether they're triode, pentode, all that sort of stuff. You can change all that, but we're not going to get into that too much. We're just looking at, if you have an amp at home, recording it.
Should we check out some presets?
Let's check out some different presets.
There's some pretty cool ones. We're checking them out earlier.
Yeah, so for example, I'm just going to do it here because you can do that on here as well. It's just easier because my trackpad is kind of screwed a bit. So let's, for example, go to this one. So this is actually now using two Celestion Plus IRs, which there's a link below. If you want to buy Celestion Plus IRs, there's an affiliate link. So if you buy any IRs, you don't have to buy these particular ones, any IRs. You'll help out the show with that. So this, for example, is using a 4x10 greenback cabinet, mic with a 421 and a 121, and it's blended together with a 1x12 greenback open back cabinet. So the 4x10 is closed back, the 1x12 is open back, mic with a 121 and a 57. And with that, again, you can do the same thing. So now, because it's quite a dark guitar, I'm probably going to add the EQ and boost a bit of the 6K.
Sure.
And just see how we go. Or we can put it in that hole, maybe. That sounds pretty.
I'm good.
Don't hurt yourself.
We need a Band-Aid.
Okay. Well, let's quickly do a couple more presets. So this is one that I used a lot, for example, at home. If you watch any of the videos that I do at my place, I used to use this one all the time, my Radcat 25. I'm going to, again, add a little bit of EQ for that because you need the EQ for this. Maybe get rid of some of the 800 and boost some of the 6K.
Kind of almost flatten it out again because you had this tweaked for your guitars there.
Yeah, sort of for my guitars and amps.
Amp setup,
yeah.
Probably go a bit brighter.
Bit brighter?
Yeah,
More?
for fun. Fun.
My trackpad.
What's the one underneath it? 2K.
2K.
Yeah,
Boost that a bit as well?
yeah, why not, eh?
This one, I want to look at this one. This is kind of a cool one. So this is an old PA system, and there was a Celestion G12H speaker in that cabinet. You can see it up there. It's a 70s PA speaker a Carlsbro PA 2x12 cabinet with the original G12H speaker in it that they did an IR of, which sounds really cool, I think. So this is just a one microphone for now. This is a Dynamic 7B.
Cool.
Anyway, I mean, that gives you an idea. There's tons, and that's the thing. You literally have. Hang on, I'll show you here. This is sort of for guitar. You can do the same thing with bass as well, but for guitar, there's tons of cabinets, and these are just the one. I mean, there's not that many actually on here that I have. I have heaps more. It's actually not that many that I have on this. But you can have tons of cabinets. You can go into their the two notes Le Boutique because it's Le two notes, as we know. And you can try them out as well. So each speaker you can actually, if you can try it out, and then if you like it, buy it, and if not, you don't buy it, and all that sort of stuff. So there's tons of this sort of stuff to do, almost limitless, really, what you can do with IRs. And to me, they sound really good. I quite like the way they sound. One other thing you can do, if you have the ability to actually record a proper speaker at home, is blend the real speaker and blend an IR together.
So we can turn that on right now. This is now do you want to mute those IRs for a second?
Yes.
So this is just the single 12 with a green band.
The one we always use, yeah.
Yeah.
Mic'd with a LEWITT MTP440.
Still that one, same one. Hurty finger. Okay.
Do you want me to play?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Oh, your guitar. Boo. Okay. Okay, so now let's do that same speaker IR. Let's just bring it back in. let's see if we can, if we do the phase switch here, does that do it? So you have phase switches too. So what can happen is if you use multiple speakers and multiple IRs and blending IRs with real speakers, sometimes you can have phase issues. And all that means is, so when a sound goes through your amp and travels to your speaker and then gets recorded by the microphone, that's quite an instant thing, right? Whereas going through this, the sound goes into here, gets converted from analog to digital, goes through the IRs, gets converted back from digital to analog, and then goes into there. So you can have a slight bit of latency, which as you're playing, you don't necessarily notice at all.
Yeah, it's not audible or affected.
No, it could just mean that when you're recording something, things may be slightly out of phase. They're not totally aligned. So one of the things you can do is you can zoom right into the waveforms, and you can actually move it, and it's tiny little. You can move the waveform. Usually the analog recorded ones, so the one recorded with a microphone, will be a bit earlier, and the one recorded digitally will be just a fraction after. You can align those, so the waveforms are aligned. But sometimes you have phase switches too, which will do the trick, and this kind of did the trick. So, because if you don't do it, it sounds like this. It has a sort of boxy, hollow sound, but that kind of fixed it. Let's try it out. So we've got a 1x12 in there. Let's try to combine it with something big, like the 4x12 ENGL. See, I hit harder too. I think that's why I'm brighter.
Sure.
Because it doesn't sound too dark to me. So see, that's, for example, that's one of the things we do when we record normal demos here. We've got that ENGL CABLOADER here, which has usually a 4x12 of some sort in it, from Celestion Plus, link below. And we blend it with the 1x12 just to give a bigger sound and it's just a fuller, rounder sound.
So this kind of ends up being very similar to what we did in the first video, but all virtual, and to the point where, especially when you're recording, if you're just double track guitars, or you want to add layers, it's often really good to use different tones. So this way, if you've got the guitar that you love for the sound, grab a different speaker, different microphone. That way, the sounds actually end up being bigger, because if you just end up with all the same thing, you end up with like almost a smaller sound. Even if you stereo spread the guitar recordings. So this way you can get layer stuff, and it's all has its sonic place. Like you could have a quad box versus a single 8 cab, and they're all going to sit in different frequency ranges.
Which is one of the reasons why, for example, I really like using, and when I do it, most of the videos I do at my place, one of the amps anyway will have a 4x10 and a 1x12. Just within one IR, because just within one thing, it actually creates a different sound, because one speaker fills the gap that the other speaker left. You know what I mean? So it's all about experimenting, and this stuff is literally limitless.
And of course, you can do it silently or with headphones.
It's all silent, so that's the other thing. So for example, at my studio, if you watch any of the videos from my studio, I can technically have everything completely quiet, just headphones on, and you can't hear a thing. So that's one of the handy things about it. So I hope that sort of made a little bit of sense to you guys, and helped out maybe a little bit with using IRs and cab loaders. So one of the most, load boxes. One of the most important things you've always got to remember is you need something that is a load box. If you have a speaker, if you have a combo amp, if you have anything, it needs to have a speaker connected. If you unplug that, it will do damage unless you have a load box connected. Also make sure the load box is the same ohmage. So if it's an 8 ohm amp output, plug an 8 ohm load box in. So for example, the captor comes in a whole bunch of different, this is a 16 ohm one, but it comes in 16, 8 and 4. Some are switchable, and so on and so on. But just make sure you do that. So you got to make sure you have the load correctly taken care of.
Very cool. Like we said, comments and questions below.
Yes.
If you've already tried this stuff, or you've come up with cool combinations of real amps and real speakers and IRs and etc. 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 Let us know. It'll be fun.
And thank you so much for watching, and thank you DistroKit for sponsoring this, and thank you Guillaume, even though he didn't sponsor this video, for making awesome stuff. And you can watch a video with me and Guillaume at 42 Gear Street last year there.
Thanks, folks.
Bye.
See you soon.